How amazing musical this is. However, when it comes back in lessons, usually what we're getting is complete lack of understanding of which voice is what. So it sounds something like this. There's lots wrong with this. So then I ask the students to separate the voices by color, something like this. And in an alarming number of cases, they cannot. They simply cannot do it, and I have to do it for them. And so I'm now in the process of creating charts like this for actually all the movements of the French suite. They will be available when I finish them, eventually. And this is not hard to do, and yet students are completely unable to do it for themselves. And I am thinking better than somebody does it for them. There are some editions out there where the voices are separated by staff. But I believe those are really hard to read. I think colorizing them is just much easier. So once we've colorized them though, then we see some interesting things. So in this particular Allemande, the way the dialogue between the voices works is very interesting. So the hymn voice is a little bit halting at first, right? It tries to get a word in edgewise, and very often there is a sort of a Hocket motive where, 1, 2, 1, 2 goes. And all of them are slightly different from each other and really quite fascinating. So here's a different colorization. So I've kind of marked up all these moments where we have the Hockets, and I've colorized them differently. The most fascinating ones are the ones where you see the orange boxes. In those cases, one voice is stationary, plays the same note 3 times, and the other voice moves. It's pretty obvious to me anyway that that's the voice we probably want to showcase. You hear it. So you have 2 sort of different tasks here. You must hold the long notes down. We must hear 2 notes at all times, which means the fingering does need to be thought through really quite carefully and obeyed, which is, I think, a bigger in lessons. And then you have to kind of decide who is standing in place and who is perhaps twirling around or moving or doing whatever in their dance. Sometimes it's him, sometimes it's her. And then suddenly this piece really comes to life.